Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is What's in the Box, where we just talk about lots of random fun stuff. This is Friday, November 9th. I have to very specifically look at my board off screen to make sure what day it is, because I never remember. And
you've got very good at this entire week.
I'm trying. But I think, let's see, neither of us have really watched anything recently. We usually start off with that, but I have completely skipped the movies and have not seen anything.
No, I am actually looking forward to... We're playing in the future right now. We really are playing in the future. Because... there's movies that I would like to see I haven't seen yet.
Yes, but they come out before this episode comes out.
Yes, exactly. I am really looking forward to, hopefully I've already seen by now, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
And I actually wouldn't mind seeing the Nutcracker. It looks like it's going to be...
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be interesting. I like that type of stuff, so it looks like it's going to be quite interesting. The Bohemian Rhapsody, I've heard some different things about in some of the reviews. Most of them are positive.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be good. The thing that seems to be the biggest issue with the movie is that it's very, 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 very safe. That it doesn't really... This is a movie about...
Queen.
About Queen, but about... I'm forgetting his actual name.
Freddie
Mercury.
Yeah.
It's about Freddie Mercury. Or it should be more about Freddie Mercury. Who, everything I've heard, is a very rated R type of guy. This is a very PG-13 movie. And there's a lot of things in the movie supposedly about the band. A lot of things about the band, but this movie was made a lot with the band had a lot of influence about how this was made. So what I've heard it's a good movie, but it's very, very, very safe. There's a lot of things it probably should have done that it didn't do because of that. But I still heard it was good. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
Yes.
And then the movie I want to see that's out right now that I still haven't seen, should have seen it over the weekend, but busy and stuff, is a movie called Mid-90s. I believe Jonah Hill wrote and directed it.
It's the one that we saw the trailer for, I think, twice now.
Yeah. It pops up.
Skateboarders. The skateboarders.
Before half my YouTube stuff I watch, they play a video for it. But yes, it's about a kid growing up in the mid-90s who's a skateboarder and has friends and stuff. It looks very interesting.
I actually watched, it was just one of the random, the TV was on and I hadn't gone to sleep yet. It was, I believe, Jimmy Fallon. And he had Jonah Hill on, actually talking about the movie and everything like that. And how most of his actors were skateboarders. Like that. And he said that this being one of his first movies, or the first movie that he's done, that was a major error on his part. Not that it didn't turn out well, but people saying that there's two things you never do when you're first starting out. You never work with children, and you never work with amateurs. And he went off the bat and got kids.
With amateur children.
Yeah, he got amateur children, and he's like, but it was very difficult, but he thought he's very proud of it.
Yeah, so it sounds interesting, looks interesting. I want to see it. I kind of intended to see it today because of hey, even if it's not a movie pass, it's $5. So I can go see this movie for $5. Didn't go see a movie today. Instead, we finished up Daredevil.
You're breaking the fourth wall, buddy. You're breaking the fourth wall.
It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. But instead, we finished up Daredevil today.
Yeah.
And man, can I tell you, what a great freaking show! God, it's good!
I gotta catch up, okay?
Oh my God!
I gotta play catch up. Right now, I decided to watch the first episode. Actually, I believe now I've completed 2 episodes of the new Sabrina.
I haven't gotten to that yet. I've decided, because I watched Maniac.
Yeah.
I finished Maniac.
Oh, really?
Really cool series.
Good? Okay, because as I said, I haven't got...
You should try the first episode. I'll even say in that. The first episode doesn't really give justice what the whole series is.
Yeah.
Because the show is about Jonah Hill's character and Emma Stone's character.
Yeah.
But the first episode is about Jonah Hill's character.
Yeah.
The second episode is about Emma Stone's character.
So you gotta kind of have to watch
they
both.
flip back and forth. But if you like the first episode, I would highly recommend going further because it really plays with the mind and what goes on and different things. It's only like 10 episodes. The episodes really vary in length. I think like the longest episode's like 50 minutes and the shortest one is like 32. So they go back and forth. But it is a cool series that really deals with the psychological. So I can really...
Right up my alley. Yeah.
Really, really highly recommend it. I very much enjoyed it.
Did you watch it solo?
Yes. Sandy watched the first episode, and she's like, it might be interesting, but she has so many other things she's personally watching that you can watch it by yourself. So I definitely did that. And I had to decide. I'm like, am I going to start Sabrina next, or am I going to start The Haunting of Hill House?
Oh.
And I decided to go The Haunting of Hill House next, and then watch Sabrina.
I actually watched the first episode of The Haunting of Hill House, and I've seen 2 episodes of Sabrina.
So I've seen the first episode of Haunting of Hill House, which was
I do like it.
Pretty interesting in the first episode.
Yeah.
I like who who it feels like you're setting up as the main character. I think his name is Steven.
You like the skeptic.
Yes, the skeptic. The one you, I think, said beforehand. I would probably
yes,
like.
I flat out told you I like the series because there's a lot of skeptics, but yes, one of the main focuses is a skeptic.
Yes.
Like, he's been through a whole bunch, and he's still a skeptic.
Yes, he's been through a lot. Yes, he's still a skeptic. So I like him in general, and I like what they've kind of done, and I like so far that there has not been, at least in the first episode, there really hasn't been, like, jump scares, which I appreciate. Because when horror comes to horror, I don't really appreciate, I think jump scares are cheap. They're an easy get. They're going to get a jump scare. Now, when someone does a jump scare that's different or unexpected in a way that it's just not someone going, then I appreciate it. Because that movie, The Nun, didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it. But if you've seen a commercial for it.
Yeah.
But the awesome jump scare is she's walking down a hallway, she turns, the girl's going to be right there. Of course she is. Yeah. And it turns, like, she's behind her, but she doesn't pop up. And it's like, that's interesting. And then she hears something, and she turns to the girl, and you expect something to happen, but then the girl comes from the side of the screen and jumps and grabs her. It's like, oh, crap! Because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It was a different jump scare. It was something like, I totally expected, like, her to disappear and be right in front of us. Or something to play with that we've seen 100 times before. And it was different. I was like, good, you surprised me. I like that.
Yeah.
But jump scares, for the most part, I find cheap because they're easy to get.
Yes, you can usually see that they're coming. I'm torn because I like the anticipation of a good jump scare, like when it builds up to that moment, like that moment where you're like,
but you always know it's coming, and I don't like.
I know it's coming, and then it's like waits, and it's like sometimes you're like. Sometimes I like that because after a while you're waiting for so long that you kind of forget about it. You're like, maybe they're not, and then bam, that's when it hits you.
Most of them are telegraphed.
Well,
it's I don't appreciate that as much. Like I like that Nun one because it was like, oh, okay, no, you prepared me for something I thought was going to happen, but that's not what happened. Instead, you caught me from left field.
Yeah,
that was cool. I like that.
Yeah,
but I prefer shows or movies that try to really go on the like. Creep factor. Yeah. I want to scare you from what's happening on the screen. I want you to be so terrified when you're done, this carries on without you. Jump scares can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to legitimately be scared of the show. It has to be scary for it to carry with you after the show is done.
I think there's two kinds of shows that kind of do that in general. Is one... either psychological thrillers or realism, like realistic ones where it's like, dude, this shit can happen. That's why it's scary. Mm-hmm. Or what are they? There's been a couple films that have done it. The only one that I can think of just right off the hand is one called It Follows, which I don't think I cared for the actual movie itself.
See, I've heard lots and lots of good things about it. I've not seen it.
The thing is that I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I think the first time I watched it, it was just kind of like maybe I was just not in the mood for it, or I've only seen part. Maybe I fell asleep. I don't know.
I don't know what type of movie it is necessarily. Because a lot of people also said they really liked the movie The Witch. And I watched The Witch and was super disappointed. Yes.
The first time I watched it, I was as well. Someone told me I should watch it again and just try to see it from a different point of view. Because, the first time I watched it, I was bored. Like, it was just... Like, the ending was kind of cool,
Yes.
but the lead up to the ending was just,
If this would have been a 15-minute short, I'd been like, that's cool.
Yes.
But it's being an hour and a half movie, I'm like, oh my god, can we get to the end of the movie already?
Yes. So someone told me to go back and watch it with a kind of a different view, so I'm actually going to try to do that. It is on Netflix right now.
I'm not going to rewatch it.
But
Personally, not me. Not going to happen.
But as far as It Follows, the reason why a lot of people really like It Follows is because it is a horror you can't escape from. It is not something chasing you. It is not something creeping up behind you. It is literally something you can see walking towards you, and no matter where you go, it's still coming at you. Like, you can walk and walk and walk, and it will follow you. And that's the thing. It never runs. It follows you. So it's like, yes, it can get closer, and obviously it is getting closer to you. But the fact is, it is so creepy because it's taking all the time.
Why did you not like it then?
As I said, I think it was just the regular. I think it was just the principle of the whole thing. Like, the entire thing is, in order to pass the curse along, you have to have sex with somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like that's how you escape the curse, is you pass it on by having sex with somebody. And I was just like, that's
a lame way of doing
this. But I think maybe that's why I had a stigma about it, and maybe that's why I got bored with it. But I don't know. I can't say for sure that I've seen it 100% all the way through to say whether I hated it or liked it. So it's something I'm going to have to go back and watch again. Because I think it's one of those ones, like, I started watching, was like, maybe had a stigma about it, like someone told me this is what it's about, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. And just maybe fell asleep through it and woke up at random parts to where I was like, this makes no sense. So I'll have to go back and actually watch it.
Well, the Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
Was pretty. The first episode was really cool.
Yes.
I like it. There's not any jump scares in it. I think for the most part, almost none at all.
No, actually.
But there's some creepy imagery.
Yes.
I think there's a little bit of jump in there. I think there was one that I kind of remember, but for the most part, there was not jump scares.
Yeah.
There are actually some cool creep factor things that happened in the episode.
Yes.
I really liked how the end of the episode happened.
Yes.
I liked that a lot.
Yes.
Because that was cool. And I've heard that supposedly the best episode is episode 6. I was listening to somebody say today that it was really cool, and according to what they've heard, a lot of people have said that episode 6 is like the best horror movie to ever happen. One of the best horror movies they've ever seen. Just that episode. And so it makes me like, okay, I want to get further.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going to happen, because I don't watch a lot of horror stuff, but I'm intrigued. I hope it continues where it's going, but it's getting raving reviews, so I'm very interested. And then I'll start Sabrina.
Maybe I'll have to continue with that one then. Because as I said, Sabrina was interesting. Like, I watched the first episode, and it made me want to watch the second episode. Like, I want to see what happens. Don't go into it expecting anything. Like, don't go into it expecting anything like the old Sabrina.
Oh, I know, it's completely different.
Except, the funny thing is, and I actually really like this about it, while you're watching it, if you actually look at the girl, like, just how she moves, how they did her hair, everything, it uncannily does resemble Sabrina a lot. Like, how they had her, like, back then, how they did her hair, just her facial features, everything like that. It's like, you're like, you could almost be a little Sabrina. Like, you fucking creepy, but you could be a little Sabrina.
I'm interested in the show, and I want to give it a few episodes for sure. My only fear with it is, like, I know it's made from the same people who did Riverdale.
Yeah, I like Riverdale.
See, what I've seen as far as, like, commercials and stuff, I've never been interested in Riverdale. And because it feels as though the show might have too much cheese. They seem a little like there's like I think is it the Uncanny Valley thing that people talk about, or it's just something about it seems like a show, like a CBS show. It seems like Vampire Diaries or something. That there's a certain production value and way it's shot and stuff that it's like, this is just meant to be like some drama. That, okay, yeah, it's about vampires, but it's just some drama. It's not, it's not deep enough for you to enjoy it. Does it feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. When I say CBS, I that puts a stigma
Lifetime?
for me.
No.
It has
no,
a
Lifetime's
certain,
worse, trust me.
It is a certain feeling that feels low budget. It doesn't feel like effort and time and stuff was put into it.
I don't know. For me, I actually really liked Riverdale. Any kind of cheesiness that it went into it is because if you base it, like if you go back and base it off the comics that it's loosely based off, besides the horror ones that came out later, Archie and Friends, it had that joking, cheesy factor to it. Of course, it's supposed to have that. So if they didn't have those little comedic remarks or anything like that, you kind of be... But as far as over, like, the production value, everything like that, as I said, I like it, but I also really liked Pretty Little Liars as well. And I know you said that you... Yeah, so it's like, of course it has the drama, it's on the CW. What do you expect? It's on the same channel that does, of course.
But see, my issue is again, to me, CW has a certain show type. Even when I watch Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, they all have that same feeling.
Yeah.
And I like the first couple seasons of Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
But they have that feeling. They all feel like they come from the same network. Because they do, but that's to me not a good thing.
Yeah.
They have this certain production budget, this certain thing to them that just, after a little bit of time watching, I'm like, no. Because I need the show to be focused on something other than just the pure drama of the characters.
Yeah.
And that's what Arrow gets to. That's what Flash gets to. It quits being a cool superhero show and becomes, just drama. And it goes too far into that. It feels like I'm watching WWE and it's not about the wrestling, it's about the drama that happens backstage. And I just that's not what I want out of my show.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that Sabrina might be like that. So I may get through it and be like, all right, it was enjoyable, but maybe I just I don't care if a second season ever comes out.
So far as the first 2 episodes, the only drama that exists needs to be there.
That's fine. So, I don't know. I've got to give it a shot and see. Because I've also seen an episode of Vampire Diaries, because Sandy's watched a whole bunch of it. And I'm like, I couldn't do this show. I could never do this show.
I can't.
I know the main guy is named Stefan, just like me, actually pronounced correctly and everything, so good for him, but...
He gets his name said right.
All the time, they always get that right. So, I don't know. So, but I'm looking forward to trying it. I've heard good things, and I do want to watch it. I'm going to try... let me phrase it. Amanda decided... We've had aloe before... Because you can drink it. This stuff is pretty good. But this is...
Because you can drink this. No,
you can drink it!
I'm poisoning you.
Hey, I only ever knew aloe.
Okay, so...
As the stuff you rub on sunburns.
Yes.
And you cannot drink that stuff. It will kill you.
Okay, so we found out that the place that we work at sells what was it? How many gallons of it?
It's like a gallon. It's only just a gallon.
So it sells a gallon of it, and no one bothered to think, hey, you can drink this stuff until... It was brought to my attention, and I was like, you guys...
Well, that was the whole thing. We're like, you can drink this? Because it was being sold as a drink, and I'd never seen it sold anywhere, especially as a drink.
So I said, yes. And so we kept asking people, and it seemed like 90% of the store did not know you could drink aloe juice. And so I went
Because most people relate it to the stuff you just rub on burns. They don't think of it as a plant you can actually get stuff and drink.
So I went to Walmart, I got one of the Aloe King, the big ones, brought it to work one day, and had everybody try it. What did you think?
I really liked that. That was really good. So, and this is mango flavored aloe juice. So we're going to try this out. We got some in a cup. So we're going to give it a shot and see what it tastes like today.
Cheers!
Cheers. It smells great. So if it tastes half as good as it smells, I'm good.
Before I do this, I'm going to eat one of these because right now, a sugar cookie right before drinking this probably...
I agree. Well, that's also why I've given it some time since I ate a cookie. I've been trying to stop eating cookies, Stefan. Give it some time. I've had some water and stuff to try to get the taste of the cookie out because I knew that was going to hinder my taste of the juice. I just want to see how it tastes because it smells delicious. And it tastes quite good, too. It's very tasty. It has pulp in it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Most, if not... well, maybe you can buy it without pulp. I've never seen it without pulp.
Well, pulp doesn't bother me. When I buy orange juice, I get the pulp version.
I do too. I prefer pulp. I love pulp.
So, it's just me drinking more of the product itself. The thing is, this is good. It's very light on the mango flavor. I mean, it tastes a lot like the aloe juice did, just with a hint of mango in it. But
I think maybe they did it on purpose, because it's like, a lot of times when you buy mangoes, or when you buy any fruit-flavored anything, they saturate it so much that you're like, eh.
This is good stuff. I really like this. I really like it. But I like the aloe juice too. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
It's just I should just buy more of it just because I do enjoy it. And for the most part,
Well,
if you buy,
I don't know if this is the healthy kind.
Exactly. Let's look here.
Probably has a lot of sugar.
It does have a lot of sugar. So I should see if there's a healthier version, this actual more pure aloe versus the sugar-coated drink that they turn this into.
Because I'm pretty sure even the one I brought you guys, I was like, I'm probably sure this is not the...
Well, I think the one we sell at work is much more natural flavored.
Yeah.
Just very, very, very basic. It doesn't have nowhere near as much sugar. Because, yeah, this is 34 grams per bottle. So that's a lot better than like a Coke or something. Because that's like 39... Well, I don't remember. I'd have to actually look at a can of Coke. I don't remember that. But it's all good.
We won't talk about the Java Monster I drank.
We're not worried about that. Leave that over there. All right. Well, I think we talked enough through that. Do we want to move into, I guess, not really a box question, but move on to the question from the other episode?
Originally, when we did our Would You If yesterday, we decided that we wanted to continue discussing what we had been. So if you watched our Would You If, what we were discussing was, would you become an AI after death if it meant that you could be with your loved ones still? Mm-hmm. Essentially, you'd be just a copy. It wouldn't be, your body would be buried somewhere, burned somewhere, however the system works.
Yes.
And
you would become essentially a consciousness on a computer. Or in our case, we're saying a tablet.
Yes.
And you'd be able to see and hear and talk to your loved one, but of course you would have no taste, feeling, or smell. So you'd just be in this tablet. And we just kind of wanted to continue that talk of artificial intelligence and everything into this.
We especially loved getting past that point, like staying in this form long enough to watch technology evolve into robots, like Chappie.
Because we already know, Boston Dynamic has already done some really cool things. You start watching some of their videos, and some of what their robots can already do. They have this little guy, I don't know what version he is, but they've shown him doing backflips. They've shown him like jumping back and forth up things and off of things. He can run through the countryside. He's pretty darn cool.
How tall is this little guy?
I don't know, he looks like he's like, what, 4 feet tall? 4 or 5 feet tall?
My friend!
Essentially, we're getting real close to being like, alright, this is Terminator. This is the Terminator. The computers are taking over. It is,
oh, geez.
The only thing we haven't quite got to yet is our true artificial intelligence. We're getting the robotic bodies in place, and we're having smarter computers, but we've yet to get to the artificial intelligence part.
How do you create a perfect brain in a computer?
It's difficult. The human brain itself is a pretty amazing thing. Our brain is more evolved than anything else on this world. We're smarter, we're able to comprehend and figure things out, and
we are smarter, but we're also a lot more stupid.
Well, that's what happens when you have a drastic amount of, what are we, like 8 billion people or something now?
I don't know, but I just, karma.
So, don't die.
Karma, I insulted humanity and then I choke on a cracker.
So, I mean, with this mini, you can't expect the overall population to be super, super smart. You're going to have select individuals that pursue that, and then you're going to have a bunch of people that don't or can't. But still, as a whole, we are a lot smarter than anything else on this planet. Hence why we are by far the top of the food chain.
Sorry, for some reason when you were talking about that, my brain went to, what was it, School of Rock? When he's like, when you can't do, teach, and when you can't teach, you teach Jim.
I don't remember that exact phrase.
It was something like that. But for some reason when you were saying that if you can't, like, there's going to be some smart people and then other people who can't do. And for some reason that's what
So, but replicating the human mind, or even more so how that question initially went, finding a way to move our consciousness into a program, into a computer form, onto hardware, is something rather difficult. Of course, I would love it, because I would love any way that I can proceed after my body. I mean, hey, if we could figure out a way to make my body go forever without some type of immortality, but the body breaks down.
I think before that were to ever happen, the brain thing would happen. I think if one of those technological advances were to happen first, I would think it would be the brain being transferred over the body.
I completely agree. That's going to be the first thing we're able to get to. We're going to find some way to move human consciousness, or a version of your human consciousness, your brain, your copy of you, into computer form. The only thing that sucks about that, because there's two versions of this. We discussed this before we did the other episode.
Yeah.
Which there's two ways this can go. Well, one is awesome, and the other one isn't.
Yes.
One is, it's a copy of you. Therefore, it's not really you. It is you, but now you've made a second you. So that you will continue to go, but the you that you know personally will die. So therefore, you will go on, but it's not really you. But the one I would prefer is to finding a way to upload me. The actual me. Essentially sucking my brain dry of who I am and putting it into that. So I close my eyes in this body and wake up in a computer body, mind, whatever. So that version, so me personally, I go on. Mm-hmm. Now a copy of me goes on.
Which would be better anyways, because essentially, if you are one copy, there's a chance there's multiple copies.
So yes, instead of copying the human mind, I would want to figure a way to upload human mind to a different body, to an infinite or everlasting computer robotic body. So I personally could live on forever.
Now, would you still want that if it went into one of our other scenarios where, of course, you were a tablet? Because a copy of you, yeah, okay, so it's essentially still you, but it's a copy, of course.
No, even more so then. The idea of still living forever.
You want to be in Sandy's closet for the rest of your life?
See, what I didn't bring up on the other show, because I didn't want to complicate it further, but what I was thinking, hey, if I'm a tablet, so I have a face, I guarantee you there's a way to hook that tablet up to something that can move around. You could put me on like a remote-controlled car or something, and I could get around and do things. To a point. We still have miniature things that you can control and move. And now, even these days, we have drones and remote-controlled cars you can control with your phone. So
but
essentially,
does that, because with another thing we had discussed though while we were talking about that, I don't think we recorded it though, was me when I had asked, well, are you allowed to like interact? Are you allowed to access the internet, stuff like that? And so it's like,
well, it's different between accessing the internet and saying if your eyes are using the camera and your ears are using the microphones and the speakers, who's to say whatever part of you that's inside this tablet can't utilize other functions of the tablet?
Okay.
So essentially, you're just utilizing the computer itself, the thing you're on, to access other things.
So essentially, they could download apps for you.
Yeah, essentially.
Like, hey, here's a remote control app if you want to flip through channels on the TV.
Exactly.
Like,
because I think if we can move you to a tablet, we can make you access the camera and access this. I'm not saying you access the internet and go everywhere forever, but you're able to access other things that are on the tablet, other programs. If we can make you access that camera, we can make you access this other app that allows you to control other robotic things like we already can do.
I can guarantee you that if someone puts the app on my tablet that controls their house, I'm gonna be fucking with people.
So I
feel like, oh, you pissed me off? I'm turning the lights off while you're trying to walk down the stairs. Like, just.
So I'm told, hey, even if we don't have the ability to move me into a robot yet, move me into a tablet. We're going to hook that tablet up to something with wheels and that can move around. And I'm going to be 1.5 feet tall on my little tablet running around like your dog. I'll bark for you.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine, like, being hooked to K9 or just, like, the Robo-Dog that came out? Just have a little tablet hooked to his back.
Well, the thing is that if we're at this point, we have something that I can get around. No, it's not going to be ideal. I may not be a robot and can just walk around and do what I got to do, but I'll still be able to get around to a point.
I would love, like, say you are a tablet and say, like, you had, like, a little robotic dog or whatever. It would be so cool if you could just, like, you just, like, put yourself on, like, they put you on a USB, they hook you to the little dog, and it's like, just roam house. Because it's like, what's really
I
cool,
can become a Roomba.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness. They put a cat on top of you.
Well, I'm just saying that
but,
the possibilities are definitely there already.
But the thing that I thought was really cool, and you reminded me of it when you were talking about the robot, the 4-foot robot that they have running around and stuff like that, is I used to be really into robotics when I was in high school, and I was looking to see how advanced they were then. And one of the coolest things I found is that they were studying how animals move.
Mm-hmm.
So they had created a robotic cheetah, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And
it actually moved. It, like, had the same step formation and everything as a cheetah and could run almost just as fast. Like, it was on, of course, a little treadmill thing. But still, just the way it moved, like watching it, because they had a YouTube video of it, but just watching it moved, it was so animalistic. Mm. And I just thought that was amazing. So it's like, put me on one of those. Like, we'll pay for the upgraded version, it's fine.
What I'm saying is that the possibilities are there. We're Boston Dynamic for sure. That's the one that gets the most public attention because they keep putting stuff out about them. There's some really cool stuff. Robotics are getting really, really advanced. So it's not crazy to think in 10, 15 years, I could easily see us having something very robotic walking around. Something like, maybe like iRobot or something.
Oh, God. That's what we need in our lives.
Hey, it's like, hey, it's a robot. It comes to your house and it does chores and it does things for you. I mean, is that really beyond the possibility?
No.
Those are very primal-looking robots. There was nothing super special about them.
Yeah. But look what happened.
That was iRobot, yes. Something bad was supposed to happen. It's a movie.
Every robot movie ever.
Because it wouldn't be interesting if the robots were just cool and calm and never messed with anybody. Then it wouldn't be a movie.
Have you by chance watched the little... I want to say it was either a short, like a very, very short YouTube video, or just a GIF that was going around, where it was malfunctioning robots.
No.
Or it was either It was either called malfunctioning robots or malfunctioning animatronics. But either way, it was just a random slew of robots and stuff that people have made that were malfunctioning. Hilarious. Like, they had one that was supposed to, like, squirt ketchup and mustard on a hot dog, and it, like, started making...
No, I think I have seen it.
And then they had the animatronic arm that was supposed to feed the face of Cheeto. It was like a mannequin head. It started beating the shit out of it with it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sorry. Anything that a human is involved in will naturally have errors, okay?
We'll get there. I know. I keep mentioning Mass Effect because I love Mass Effect. Mass Effect is fantastic, but there's I want to say species or race, but they're called the Geth, and they are robotic.
Okay.
Essentially, what are they called? I don't remember. Anyway, these alien race basically did exactly what we're doing. They made robots to serve under them, to do things for them, but these robots became self-aware and turned against them. And they're their own species now, and they've taken over the planet, which made them have to flee their own planet. Because the Geth won. So, very interesting. God. Mass Effect.
I know, I'm behind.
Mass Effect!
I know!
God, I love Mass Effect.
But no, essentially, as far as being, like, obviously, if I'm a tablet, that's fine, whatever. But if we get to the age of robots, that would be killer. Just to, like, even if I live the rest of my life as someone's animal companion, like, what movie am I thinking of? Like, it's a giant robot. I don't know if it's a feline of some sort or a canine of some sort, but it's like it's pretty much a robotic dog. It might be a game, or it could be just. It's either a movie or a game. I don't know.
I mean, there was a movie that came out not too terribly recently called Axel, but I don't know. Remember?
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
No, but I don't know. It's just that would be cool. Just be like, just chill out as a companion, and then it's like whenever it's like, oh, robot body needs to charge. I'll go back to my little tablet and just.
Well, the thing is that I totally think it would be really cool and very powerful. Like, hey, all right, I'm a tablet with just some wheels to get around the house for now. Well, in 5-10 years, I'm a pet dog that gets around me. I can go around and I can last 2-3 times as long. Oh, another 5-6 years. Oh, I'm in a robotic 5-foot tall body that now I am that robot and I can get around and do things. And I'd be fine waiting to get to that point. But the thing is, if this is in the future where we can do that, and at this point, we're in our late 20s, early 30s, if I'm at my 50s or 60s or 70s, it's been 30 years, 40 years from this point. At that point, from this point to that point, we have robots. I guarantee it.
Now, well, it brings to mind how the human brain actually works. Like, because we didn't really talk about this in the Would You If. As far as, like, when you die. Like, actual timeline. Because I'm sorry, but if you are copying a 70 to 80-year-old brain, I don't know if I want to live in that mindset forever after death.
What do you mean that mindset? It's
okay.
Just, you are you.
Yes, but okay, think about it this way. Say you are in a family that has, like, onset early Alzheimer's. Okay. So you have a brain, essentially, that is starting to delete information and confuse information. Why would you want to copy that brain and live that like that forever? You can't just go back in the past, copy that brain.
Well, see,
essentially. Like, unless you signed up for this service a long while back.
Well, that's very different. You're saying you have a disease when you try to do this.
Well, no, that's what
Not all old people have dementia and Alzheimer's.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, this entire discussion is based off of what if, okay? So, pretty much, no, but essentially, like, the question was, would you want to do this if you die, like, after death? And it's like, if you're that age and your brain, like, I could see people saying no. Like, if your brain has already deteriorated that badly, why would you want to copy it and live it with that mindset for the rest of your life?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But what you do instead is that this is already possible. If you see early signs of that, then you can go ahead and say, hey,
the save button.
Let's go and take this version of me now and do it, and I'll just leave this bad brain, bad corrupted area. because it's the brain doing that. And if you are able to upload your consciousness, then you don't have that bad brain anymore. Now you are programmed. So you're different. I agree. You are better than you were before.
But yes, this would definitely have to be like in your early years, be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit it. Make a backup of myself.
But that's different. That's copying yourself. Versus uploading your own consciousness. Versus, that comes back to the me personally moving to a robot versus a copy of me doing that. Because those are different things.
But essentially, as I said, it all depends on when you die.
But also, if we're already...
Unless you're going to self-terminate early, because you see...
Well, I'm saying...
Okay,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you see early onset Alzheimer's, you catch it early, you realize that's what's going to happen. Then you go ahead right there. I'm done. Move me over.
Makes sense.
But also, if that's the case, then I could easily see, especially if you have good, advanced robotics by then, people, even young people, saying, I think I'd be better off in a robotic body. And moving over to a robotic body versus our human body. And how would people feel ethically about people jumping ship?
Do you think they'd put an age limit on it?
I don't know. There would be, of course, there'd have to be some kind of age limit on it. It couldn't be, you're 5, you want to be a robot, go ahead. It'd have to be like an 18-year-old or older thing. You have to be like, okay, you're an adult.
Consenting.
Make your decision on this, unless there's like a terminal illness or something that's like, okay, yes, you have to, in order to live, you have to do that. But of course, now this also comes down to if everyone practically is living forever. Everyone. We start running into a very, 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 very quick, rapid overpopulation of the world.
Well, that's the other thing, though, is that, one, we would have to figure out how these would terminating the body terminate the mind, first off. Meaning, could technically, if you want to go all population control, start beating the shit out of robots. Two, well, obviously, if you're robots, you're no longer populating. So it's like...
You can't really... You can't reproduce if you're a robot.
So essentially, it would be the exact same population until you rust out and die.
Well, if you can move to one robot, you can move to another, and you can repair and fix and...
Well, yeah, but essentially, it would be the same ones. We wouldn't be multiplying anymore. It would just be...
See, you say we wouldn't be multiplying, but it's like, we take a backup of your DNA from your normal body, and from your DNA, we can...
So you're talking about people essentially adopting kids.
No, not really even adopting. We can use your original DNA. If you meet someone, they have a backup of their own.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not adopting, though.
Oh, my God.
Essentially, we are creating a real baby... We are artificially growing a real child using both of your two DNA to create another person. Because I guarantee that's what it would come down to.
So along with your consciousness, a sample of DNA would be on file.
Why not? I mean, really, why not? If we're moving you, say,
I guess they would need it in case later on when they decide to move on to more organic materials. Like, be right back.
Yeah, there's things you could do that way too. But, I mean, still, yes. At some point, people would want the ability to reproduce, and we would not want to die out as a species. So, of course, we'd have to say, hey, we have to keep up backups of DNA. Because I think we're already to the point where we could pretty much artificially grow a human. So,
It's a weird conversation. I love how we've completely... moved from the core of this, which was, would you do this for your loved ones?
That was that question in that episode. The reason we
We
expanded
didn't even stay on that one for
it doesn't even
episode.
matter. That's why we did, because the point was that was going to get off track so quickly. And that's exactly what it did. It immediately went some other places. But those are the interesting things to talk about. The future of what the species, what we are going to become. And finding out ways for us as a species to live forever.
Yeah.
To move past our organic, normal bodies and move on to infinitely living. Of course, or we'll find ways to make our organic bodies live a lot longer. But no matter how many times you can regrow organs and pieces of the body, I mean, I don't know much about keeping the skin from aging.
I don't know, they have some creepy miracle creams now.
Yeah, but I mean, no matter what. No matter how old you get, the skin always goes. Sure, we can grow you an artificial liver. Sure, we can grow you an artificial lung. Sure, we can grow you artificial insides. But that doesn't stop the rest of you from aging. Doesn't stop your bones from getting worse. It doesn't stop your skin and other things from going bad.
Could you imagine having to continuously get skin grafts?
So instead of doing all of that extra work, why not just go to a mechanical body? Because I kind of feel like that's where we may, as a species, end up going. Because the human population, or a lot of people in the human population, fascinated with immortality. Living forever. Dying is scary. And according to what you believe after you die, dying is terrifying.
Yeah.
If your idea of death is it is permanent, and it is done, and it is over, and it is nothing but eternal black and darkness after that, because there is nothing after this world, then death is scary. It means there's no... You don't really want to go. That's not a good idea. Because then you, as a person, as a consciousness, is gone.
I think even if you don't have that view, like even
It's
if
still scary.
Yeah, like, even if it's, oh, you go to this beautiful place, or you sleep until someone comes to get you, you still have that other option. And it's like, most of us, I think, on a daily basis, actually stop and think about our lives and go, yeah, I'm going to be dancing in the flames. Like,
So, finding any way to stick around here is going to be better. And I do it in a heartbeat.
I still want to live as a robot animal. That'd be fun.
Hey, and you know what? You'd have that option. If we're able to move your consciousness into any robot, and it be something, why not say you're just this talking robot animal? Why not?
Hey, I would.
Why you could be, if we're that good at robotics, you technically could be whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to look like this, or I want to be this, or I want to be that. You can be a doe walking through the woods.
That's going to be an ongoing trend, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. You brought it up. You said it.
What the fuck was that even? What were we just...
I don't remember.
It was... Oh, it's going to bother me now.
It was from one of our very, very, very first episodes. But...
we were talking about shape-shifting.
Yes.
And how, like, you could be a deer prancing in the woods, but then you'd get shot. Yeah.
But you said you wanted to be a deer.
I said I'd want to be a shapeshifter, and it would be nice to explore, but that might be one of the dangers, is because you could be shapeshifted into a deer bounding through the woods, and
Actually,
then bam,
that was
there goes Bambi.
I think that was our very first episode of What's in the Box. Yeah. Because it's the one we talked about superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
It was the very first episode of What's in the Box.
Aww, that seems so long ago now.
It does. It does seem so long ago. Oh.
Aww.
So, yeah. I would... It'd be cool. It'd be some really interesting futuristic world where people are no longer just people. People may be the robotic deer walking down the street. It may be a 4-armed, 5-armed, 6 or 8-armed person because, hey, they wanted more arms because that would be more interesting to get things done. It could be some person living in the ocean because they wanted to be an octopus. And it'd be like, really...
multi-arms and octopus.
Or it could be, hey, yeah, you want to explore the ocean? You want to... Oh, you're a marine biologist, whatever? All right, you know what? We're gonna put you in a thumb drive, put you in this new body, so you can go underwater and do your thing.
And see, then it just gets depressing. Because then we think of all these things. We think of it, and it's just like...
I hope I'm around when we get this
exactly.
done. I hope we're there. Or of course, things could go exactly like Altered Carbon goes. They literally just, every person's implanted with this little box that's stuck right here, the neck of basically your spine. And that's where your consciousness is. Your consciousness is no longer your brain. Your consciousness is copied and put into this right here. And then when you die, unless that box is destroyed, but if you die, or you die of old age, or you get killed or something, they take that, and they have clones. Body clones. And they stick that into another clone, and there you are, you're back. Because that's also another alternative. That's a way of keeping an organic body. If where consciousness can be uploaded to just something, you just keep creating bodies, and you just keep moving that chip to new bodies as they decompose, as they die.
All the crazy things.
And this is why I want to live forever, because I want to see what this future becomes. But of course, again, in my opinion, we start worrying, well, no matter what we're going to be worrying about it, is overpopulation.
Overpopulation
is an issue.
Resources
and overpopulation is an issue, like a real issue. That at some point will become a problem unless we figure a way to get off of this earth onto somewhere different. That we can populate somewhere else, and we can make sure resources can be retained and duplicated and everything. Because at some point, we're not going to be able to stay here. It's not possible.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you want to be able to say, this is going to happen because we need it to happen. But at the same time, so many people have the mindset already that, oh, no, we're immortal. We're going to live forever. Or everything's everlasting, pretty much. And so many...
Or it's not my issue, because I'll be dead before any of this ever happens. So why should we worry about it?
And too many people have that mindset to where it's like, the progress that we need to occur is not happening because everyone's just like, it's never going to happen, or it's not going to happen now. So it's like, the world's just going to burn, and we're going to be like, oops.
Oh, it's too late.
Yeah.
We can't do anything now. It's pretty much going to be,
WALL-E?
well, they had a way of at least escaping to a degree.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more of like Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
That the world was killing them. It was done. It was over. And they had no plan. There's one last-ditch effort. That's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
The last-ditch effort to try to save humanity. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get to the point that we've waited too long to fix things that we can't. That we don't have time anymore. That we're going to be wiped out as a human species and be done. Or because we're so reliant as a species of this particular planet that we haven't gone to the places. We haven't figured out how to be other places, that once something does happen to this Earth, whether it's a super volcano, or it's a sun flare that fries the planet, or whatever the case may be, that we're done. That's it. The human species is done. We're a blip in this cosmic universe because we didn't figure a way to get off of this planet, to expand, to be somewhere else. So when things go wrong, us as a species isn't extinct.
You know how terrifying that is to actually stop and think about?
Oh, horribly terrifying. But you can't let that...
Like, it's the same as when because I get these a lot. It's the whole existential crisis. Like, just when you actually stop and think about that life is going to come to an end at some point. The people you love are going to come to an end at some point. The earth that you care about going to be gone. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Am I doing anything worthwhile? If I am, does it even matter? Like, it's just like one of those horrifying, crippling moments. And yes, having those moments, I can understand why it is so easy for humanity to just move on. Because it's like, you have those moments, you get scared of those moments, and your body automatically reacts to it as in cover it up.
Exactly.
Just cover it up.
Exactly.
Cover it up.
Find something to fill that void, to not think about things that are more technically important, but it's scary, it's terrifying. What can I do? It's better not to think about it.
Yes.
Let me fill that with noise so I don't have to think about it.
Yes, that's exactly it. And then we move on, and then anywhere from 5 minutes to a couple days to a couple weeks later, you're like, oh shit. Like, I remember having this moment that far ago, or that long ago, but I still haven't done anything.
Yep. And then that repeats itself over and over and over until you're old and dying and like, what did I do?
Exactly.
Did I do anything? Did I help anything? Did I achieve anything? And the answer is no. No, you didn't do anything. Why? Because you got into routine and you just did the same thing over and over again with a job that means nothing, that's not important, and you forgot to live.
Why do I feel like we're talking about ourselves?
God, I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we are. I mean, that's where this was eventually getting to there. That's what's...
Yeah.
But how do you escape that reality? Hopefully. You try something different. You try to be happy. You try to get something where you're at least trying to do something you're happy about. Because unfortunately, you have to have a job in this world. You have to make money. You have to do something. Otherwise, you're just living on the street. Or I'm backpacking with side jobs, moving around, never really being anywhere, doing anything. And it's just, in order to stay in a place and try to be happy with the community and people and enjoy and try to have a happy life, you have to work. And work is boring and mundane and pointless for the most part unless you're trying to do something you enjoy. If you like your work, great. You are one of the luckiest people on the planet. You enjoy what you do and you can make money and live off of that.
Yes.
But for the 99% who don't, then you're doing some job you hate, with some boss you hate, for some corporation that you hate, for some whatever, and it's just miserable and you're just trying to get day to day.
And see, this is what I don't like to hear. I don't like to hear it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, I understand, but it's not really a confidence boost. Where someone says, you're like, I hate my job, or I don't like my job, and someone says, yeah, but someone has to do it.
Someone has to do it. Oh, so someone has to be miserable.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
you should just suck it up because someone has got to be miserable.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, like retail jobs. Well, retail makes the world go round kind of thing. So it's like someone has to work retail. It's like, okay, then fine. Why can't we have it to where these people work retail, they get cycled out, and then like new people come in? It's like, I know people who have been in the retail business for way longer than they probably should have, but it's like, or why not have it to where it's like, okay, you work retail you work retail for this amount of time, and then like maybe teenagers or something come in, they have it as their first job kind of thing. They move on, and you just keep going that way.
But where do you move on to? That's the issue.
A job you actually fucking like. Okay?
And that's the difficult part. For everybody to get jobs they want, which is difficult, but everyone enjoys different things. So you can hope that, hey, there are some jobs that are going to suck. But what we should try to do is make said retail jobs more pleasant, more enjoyable to work at. Try to make the working experience better so you're at least semi-happy working there so it's not a horrible experience at all times. But that's not what corporations are.
No.
They want to make as much money as possible, no matter how miserable they make everyone, because the top 15 people need to make as much money as humanly possible because too much is never enough, and everyone beneath has to be miserable and make nothing.
It's difficult I think it's even worse to join a company. And I mean, obviously you're going to see it more than I am, being that you have been with the company longer. But to join a job where it's like, okay, this is kind of tough, but, you know, hey, it's not that bad. The work's not that bad. People are, it's okay. It's tolerable. Money's not that bad. Everything like that. But then just to watch it slowly, with the past, it's been quickly, but, just to watch it decline and know the reason is just because they are choosing, you know, quantity over quality and not giving a shit about anybody. It's like, just to see that happen, because when I joined in 2015, okay, my first year or so, great. Like, it was a struggle. I mean, I had days, but we all have days and jobs like
and
that.
And it already gotten way worse from when I started.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. As I said, you saw it decline longer than I have. But it's like, from when I was there, my first year, maybe year and a half were great, and then suddenly, oh, we're going to implement new procedure. And it's like, who is this new procedure helping exactly? Because it's not helping us. And then it seems like every month since then, they've been adding something new. And still, I'm wondering, I really, really don't think you're putting these in there to help your associates.
Oh, they never are. It's never to help the associates. Never there to help the bottom people. It's only there to try to make things better, to make more money for the top people. Even if top people are very smart. But...
Which reminds me, apparently it's called Reindeer Run, not Reindeer Game. Remember how I told you that a bigwig is coming to visit? And I thought it was called Reindeer Game. Apparently it's called Reindeer Run. Either way. Essentially, I assume just by the name of it, it just means like... Santa's sending out his reindeer to check out things. Yeah. But I thought it was a reindeer game, which is more fitting, you know. I can't remember the movie at all, but it just seems like it. Yeah.
So yeah, the ultimate goal should be to try to make things better for people so people can be happy. But, of course, if you really look at your life, it's like, oh, well, us, maybe we're not in the best position of the planet. We're a lot better off than a lot of people.
And see,
and that's even worse.
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing, is that it's another really horrible thing to say to someone. Is like, you know, you think you got it bad, but it's like, these people have it way worse, because then it's like, okay, so what you're saying is that I shouldn't have this anxiety, I shouldn't have this depression over what I'm going through, because they have it worse. It's
exactly.
It's like, okay, now I really feel like a shitty human being. Like, it's not something that you should be telling people. Like, yeah, be like, hey, you know, just be thankful for what you got. You know, you're working, you're doing what you can, that sort of thing. Not like, well, you know, Bobby Joe over here.
Yeah, because someone always has it worse.
Well, yeah.
And the goal, again, should always be, hey, how can we make things better for everyone? But of course, then you're looking at like, oh, this is the society of the world. There's so many different governments. People, not all the world is as lucky as we can be in certain places. The United States, we're free for the most part to make our own decisions and try to move up and try to do things and create things and try to be happy. Where not everywhere is like that. Some places, I mean, you have completely evil dictators and. There are no choices about trying to be happy and trying to make things. And you can only be thankful that you're in one of the better ones. But it's like, but can we fix everywhere else instead? So everyone can try to be decent?
I just feel like we're going to end up like... We're going to end up in the Hunger Games. We're going to end up in... did you ever have to read, or I mean, you might have watched the movie too, The Giver?
Don't know what that is.
Okay. The Giver, at least I read it as a book when I was in school. Mm-hmm. There has been a movie made about it now, but it's essentially like you're born, a family picks you out or something like that. You get older, everything's kind of in black and white. You don't see in color. You get a specific job when you get older. essentially, like, I don't think it's drawn out of a hat. I think it's just you go to see somebody and they tell you what your job is going to be. Like, you can be a caregiver at one of the nursing facilities. You can be, like, menial work. I don't know, like gardening, something like that. Either way, it's just like, just jobs, just random jobs, and the main kid gets, he gets to be the next giver, I think it's called. Which is, they're the ones who have all the knowledge of the town. They know, it's just one guy. He knows what colors are. He knows what lies beyond their town, because you're not allowed to leave. Like, they teach pretty much there's nothing around. Like, as I said, it's been quite a while, so I don't know all the details, but essentially it's just like you're pretty much you're just taught basic everything, and then he's given the chance to learn of how things were. It's kind of like the Dark Tower, how the world has moved on. So pretty much he learns what colors are, and he actually starts to see them because he learns what they are. So he starts to see the world in color. He learns about weather, and just it's a really cool concept. The movie kind of just but the book was actually really good.
Sounds interesting.
I can't remember who it's by, but I have, like, I think I didn't even know there was more of them. Apparently, there's three or four of them. But I have all of them in, like, a digital format. I think I've only read the first one.
Yeah.
But it's like, could you imagine if we just started moving into societies like that, like where everything's, it's like when you're born, you go through the same lessons everybody is. You're given a specific job, like just.
Things would have to rapidly decline, or there would have to be something along a great war or nuclear war, something that would annihilate most of the planet and leave a small portion behind to try to come back from that.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, I don't think unless things go horribly wrong, we're not going to decline in that way.
Well, things go horribly wrong.
So I'm more hopeful for the future of us figuring our crap out and hopefully expanding and moving forward as a species. At least that's what I hope. But
there's a lot of hope going around. Well, then, of course, talking about robots, going back to, like, robots and stuff, it's like, are we just going to be replaced by robots? Like, is the retail world just going to be all technology and robots? And then we are not needed, so then what do we get?
Well, that's the issue. Yeah. What do we do now?
Yeah.
If most of the jobs start going to robotics and nothing's man operating anymore, all the fast food restaurants, all the retail jobs,
well, then you got to start to think, well, then would money value matter as much?
You have to have some kind of currency. You have to live somehow.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that if there's no way to make it, then obviously
there had to be another way to move into other job opportunities. As a species, we have to figure out how to make that work. I don't know what the answer is right now, but currency will always be a thing because it has to be a thing because there is no other.
Trading shells, trading furs.
It's always currency.
Coins.
You have to have some type of trade. There has to be something of value in order to trade, to make people cooperate and do things. There is no such thing as, we just all live under the government and they just give us everything we need.
No.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work because that means no one ever strives for anything. Everyone's just existing.
Then we really turn into Wall-E.
Yeah. So you have to have something to strive for. You have to have some hope that, yes, maybe if I do things right, or I do this, or I pursue this, I have an opportunity to achieve something to make my life better. Because if there's no hope of a better life, and what are you doing? I mean, you're just existing for the sake of existing?
Welcome to the world.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Would you like to share with the class? I
was just seeing if we now have someone who's actually corresponding with us and commenting after someone rudely threatened everybody last episode.
It worked out!
But our lovely little friend had, of course, put in the question for the Would You If.
Yes.
And, of course, we've spent an entire show just branching right off that.
Yeah, it really inspired what the show is.
And so they happen to say that they originally got their idea from a book series called We Are Legion, and in parentheses, We Are Bob. And then they recommend that we read it. I've never heard of it.
Nearby. We Are Legion, which is funny. I mean, I assume that, again, it's Mass Effect. Because there's a character called Legion in Mass Effect. And they said We Are Legion.
We Are Legion,
Mini.
We Are Bob.
Well, this is We Are Legion, We Are Mini.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So.
It just says...
Baby Shark.
Also, he's hooked on the Baby Shark thing.
I can't help it. It's catchy.
Baby Shark, do-do-do-do.
Mama Shark, do-do-do-do-do. Papa Shark, do-do-do-do-do.
I'm leaving.
The end. Do-do-do-do-do.
Let's go hunt, do-do-do-do-do. Yeah.
It's catchy. It's sad. It's just catchy.
Yeah. I still love the whole, what was it? It said, you guys may be doing the whole Baby Shark, you guys may be doing the whole Baby Shark, but when I grew up, this was our Baby Shark, and it's this is the song that never ends.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The issue with that song is I don't actually know the whole song.
I do.
So all I can do is repeat this is the song that never, and it's
yeah.
But there's another verse that ties it back in to again doing that.
It goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song. Yeah.
See, I just keep repeating the exact same thing. It's like, It's like a catchy song, but the only thing that's catchy about it is like the chorus, and it's like that's all you can remember of the song. It's just you repeat that over and over again.
It says, Bob Johansson has just sold his software company and is looking forward to a life of leisure. There are places to go, books to read, and movies to watch, so it's a little unfair when he gets himself killed crossing the street. Bob wakes up a century later to find that corpsicles have been declared to be without rights, and he is now the property of the state. He has been uploaded into computer hardware and is slated to be controlling AI in an interstellar probe looking for habitable planets. The stakes are high, no less than the first claim to the entire world. If he declines the honor, he'll be switched off, and they'll try again with someone else. If he accepts, he becomes a prime target. There are at least 3 other countries trying to get their own probes launched first, and they play dirty. The safest place for Bob is in space, heading away from Earth at top speed, or so he thinks, because the universe is full of nasties and trespassers make them mad, very mad.
It sounds interesting. For some reason, it just makes me think of Futurama. Really interesting.
By Dennis E. Taylor.
Might be something interesting to check out.
Yeah.
Well,
we now have a book recommendation.
Yes. We're in the middle of a book, but we're
We're in the middle of a lot of things right now.
You telling me? Which is a good time to
I was
bring
about
up.
to say, do you want to go ahead, being that this is what's in the box, and I don't know, I can't read the time from here.
And we've been going about an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, so shall we end it on this note? I know you've been dying.
Hey, it's just the thing. I mean, we've been working on this for weeks now. We're finally prepared, or semi-prepared. It's not out yet. Or at this point, it should be.
It should be.
We actually should have 2 out by this point. We'll see if it's. We hope. If all goes well, we will have 2 out. So how much do we want to discuss not knowing?
Well, okay. So So you might have noticed that on our channel we have a lot of videos, we have a lot of interesting little clip art thingamajigs, but you really haven't seen anything true to our show. I'm talking to them.
Okay. I'm as interested as hopefully they are.
Okay. Well, a lot of times when you're browsing through YouTube or you're browsing through people's channels, things kind of just pick up at you and you're like, oh, I like this. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to watch it. Okay. And we have some interesting photos and stuff like that, but we don't really have anything that just reaches out and catches people's eye. Do you think so?
You're going about this a very interesting way, but continue onward.
Okay, so we want something to go along with our channel that's kind of short, sweet, simple, and also we have some cute people that we'd like you to meet.
That's one way of going about it. If you've paid attention to, if you ever watched YouTube, because you wouldn't know if you listened to the podcast, if you ever watched YouTube, underneath our names says The Gunslinger and The Alchemist. And that was supposed to be a thing from the very beginning.
Yes.
And it didn't work out from the very beginning at all.
We actually started out with The Alchemist, The Gunslinger, The Jedi, and The Confused Vigilante.
Yes, those were character names. And Amanda, being the great artist that she is, was going to draw all of us a character.
Yes.
And needless to say, between people not being a part of the show and our rough launch and everything else, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So we've started working on it, and we're going to have... our goal is to use said characters, and we're going to... hopefully, at this point, we should have 2 comics out about said characters.
Yes. They're just going to be short, sweet, simple, hopefully funny, kind of catch people's attention, and also make you laugh.
Yeah, so there'll be stuff that will be a YouTube video, just a little slideshow if you want to check it out that way. But otherwise, it's going to be content that's more suitable for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. There'll actually be pictures and actually little comics and stuff. And hopefully, all goes well, they'll post every Wednesday.
Hopefully.
On the day we don't have anything.
Yes.
So hopefully, as of filming today, we'll have one going out tomorrow on Halloween being the very first one.
So the very first one will be Wednesday of last week.
Yes.
And then the second one should have happened this week.
Yes, but Wednesday of last week, which will be Halloween, which should be the very first one.
Yes.
And then this one will be 2 days before this video post.
Yeah. So we shall bring you cutes and funnies and
hopefully you will enjoy it. We would love your feedback. Hopefully we'll get it just based off of posting this. And by the time you see this, hopefully we'll have 2 out and we'll have some comments and people discussing, and hopefully we'll have some fun and interesting things to come with it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you guys like it, if you guys really want us to push further with it, oh yeah.
We have lots of ideas and lots of things we would like to do. So if you like the content, if you like the comics, we've got a lot of ideas.
Oh yeah.
I think that's where we're going to end, right there. Right there. It's a good spot at the end. If you got this far into the show, that's the only way you've heard about this. It didn't happen by accident. But
this is the nice little treat for those who stuck around.
Yeah, you get to hear the reveal, which isn't really a reveal because technically it would already be out. But for us, it's not.
No.
You're in the future at this point, seeing something that's yet to happen.
It's weird. Sometimes we break that little wall.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. You can't post and you can't film and post on the same day, or you can, but we're not there. We're not that good yet. But hopefully one day we'll have lots of fun things to plan and live shows and stuff like that. It'd be great.
We'd love to do live shows with you guys.
It would be fun, but we have to get to that point. We're definitely not there. But as always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hey, if this is on iTunes or somewhere where you can leave fancy comments and ratings, do that. Throw a comment down below. Dislike it if you got this far and hear me dislike it, you must have liked the video because you would have clicked off way before this.
Which is fine. I mean, the view.
Oh, yeah, the view that works too. Throw a dislike. Why not?
Which is funny. Our last what's in the box hat. What the fuck?
What are you saying? What? What happened? When?
Our last What's in the Box got a dislike.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's that. Well, there's like one random person, or it's different random people randomly liking certain videos.
I'm wondering if someone is accidentally hitting the dislike button.
Or someone's hitting it because we're telling them to.
Kuro.
There's no telling.
Oh, that's true too. You're sitting there telling people
exactly
shit.
So it's possible based off of that.
But no,
Or someone didn't like our face and threw a dislike and left. That happens too. So
the view. At least stay for like 3 minutes.
3 minutes. You can hear us barely get into any conversation at all.
Just stay for beyond our focus.
But as always, you can reach me at Stars Untraveled. You can reach Amanda at KZ Pup. You can reach the show at Beyond Our Focus on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on podcast services.
Around the world.
Around
I don't know.
the globe.
I don't know. Are we international?
I don't know. I really don't know. I assume, if we're on podcast services, no podcast services, broadcast internationally, I would assume we are international. I know YouTube is. Because on my old channel and stuff, we would get stuff and be like, oh, we got views from like over here in Australia and over here. And it was very interesting to see where some of the views came from. It was very fun.
Yeah. Tangent.
But we're tangent right at the end because it takes us 15 minutes to wrap up the show.
We're horrible at goodbyes. I'm sorry. We just love you guys.
We're terrible so much. But I believe that is it unless you have anything further to add. Alrighty. Well, till next time. Long days and pleasant nights.